4th episode. So exciting. I am so happy about this series. Many more episodes to come. I want to start off this video before you guys actually dive into the lesson to bring up two things. First is that somebody on my first video mentioned that I actually pronounced Nishikata's name wrong, and oh my god, I'm so embarrassed because it's actually true. I pronounced his name wrong, and then when I was watching it again, I'm like, oh my god, it's so bad. So, I'm sorry. Instead of Nishitaka, it's Nishikata. He's so right. And another apology is because I didn't read his comment until after I made this video or streamed this lesson, and so I also call him Nishitaka, so just please overlook that. I'm sorry. Actually, me bringing this up will probably make a lot more people notice it. But anyways, without messing up too much, I think you guys will still enjoy the episode. It's a really good one. Spoiler alert, we do talk about No Game No Life, so if you haven't seen No Game No Life, highly recommend you watch it before checking out this video. And yeah, without further ado, let's start the video. So I hope everybody did their homework, which I assigned, which was to watch the first 3 episodes of Takagi Jozu. Karakai Jozu no Takagi-San. With that, without further ado, okay, we're gonna start the lesson. Thank you guys for joining the class. I believe this is the 5th lesson. Oh no, wait. This is the 4th lesson. 4th lesson of Musubi Sensei's class lessons from the anime. Today's topic is why Takagi-san is an amazing character. And since I started class, I'm not going to read chat until the very end, so keep that in mind. I just minimized it, so if there's anything super major, tweet at me, I guess. And then, like, Miss Darren, if something is going terribly wrong, tweet at me, okay? Alright, so with that, why Takagi-san is such an amazing character. So, her predictions, right? She is so good at reading Nishitaka, it's a little scary. And we're going to go into that a little bit right after. Oh, hold on. Okay, let me move this over. I forgot to start. Not a very professional class. Teacher was late to class and all over the place, but it's okay because it's the start of something new, right? Her predictions, great. Okay, so her predictions are amazing because she knows Nishitaka so well, and it comes from this root of her crush and how much she likes him, which Nishitaka doesn't even consider because he doesn't even think it's possible. All he thinks is she just really likes to tease me. The key is that she pays attention to everything he does and therefore studies him, is obsessed about him, one or the other, because she likes him so much, and that way she knows exactly how he thinks and what pranks or teases or moves or what other counter argument he might present in order to try to get her back at teasing him. And this anime is so funny because if only Nishitaka would entertain the idea for a second that Takagi-san actually likes him, he would be able to read her like a book and just understand everything that she's doing, all the things that are going on. It would actually, I think it might ruin the anime if he figured everything out. But he doesn't, which is what makes this anime so cute and hilarious because he's always falling for her tricks, tactics, pranks, you name it. And like I said earlier, Takagi-san is in love with Nishitaka. And you find that out from the first episode when I think it's right after this slide. But Nishitaka literally does not believe it's possible for Takagi-san to even like him because she's just like, well, she's always teasing me, so like there's no way. Like she just gets enjoyment out of seeing me in pain and torture, right? So oh my god, it's getting covered.
So Nishitaka literally has so many times to put the pieces together that Takagi-san is actually in love with him. So in the first episode, there's this scene called Eraser, which the anime is broken up into like small 5 to 10 minute little skits that happen throughout the show, each episode. And in this episode, Takagi-san brings up this thing that says, "Oh, have you heard this thing where if you write the name of your crush on your eraser, then that crush will fall in love with you?" And then she's like, "Oh, Nishitaka, can I borrow your eraser?" He's like, "Oh, sure." And then she opens it and is like, "Oh shit. Oh, wait, what? Really?" And it's like acting, obviously. And Nishitaka starts freaking out, saying, "Oh my god, like, did I actually write her name? Did I write something down? Oh my god." And then she baits him by, she's like, "Okay, I'm gonna go to the bathroom." So he takes her eraser and hopes to write something funny on hers so that when he comes back and opens it, like, "Oh, what is on your thing?" And then he slowly is like, "Wait, what if she actually wrote something in there?" And then he pulls down the eraser paper and it says, "Look out to your right." And then he looks to his right and he sees her standing in the hallway. So she totally baited him. Play by play, predicted his movements. But the interesting thing is, on the other side, if he had a 50-50 chance, right? This is what this picture is. On the other side is Nishitaka's name, but he just picked the wrong side and accidentally picked the "look out to your right" instead of his own name. And if he saw his own name, he would realize that, oh, okay, so Takagi-san is actually has a crush on me. But so many chances. There's so many more chances like this throughout the anime of him being able to figure out that Takagi-san is actually in love with him, but nothing. He's just a derp. And so there's another scene. This is why I told you guys to watch the anime, because the first 3 episodes, so I don't ruin anything. But this is what happens when you don't do your homework, you know? So I gave you guys a fair warning. In this scene, Nishitaka can't go swimming with everybody because he has a cut on his hand. So he's gonna, obviously, the teacher's like, "You have a cut on your hand, you're gonna get infected, you can't go in the pool." Takagi-san sits out with him and says, "Hey, like, why do you think I'm not able to go into the pool?" And he's coming up with all these reasons in his head, like, "Oh, does she want to tease me? Oh, it's probably like, well, girls can't go swimming because maybe they're on their period." And so then he's like, "Okay, like, you should guess." And then he guesses period. That glare right there is like, what the heck? That's so rude. And then she laughs and is like, "I'm just kidding." And then takes off her PE clothes, has her swimsuit underneath, and goes swimming. It's so obvious that the only reason she's out there is because she wants to hang out with Nishitaka because she has a crush on him and likes him. But he's so dense and doesn't even entertain the idea again. And so a lot of situations like this happen throughout the anime. Which is what makes her such a playful character to watch, interact with him. So now, very interesting. Takagi-san compared to Sora, all right? And these pictures right here are super telling, right? They're both very, very good at predicting their opponent. They're really, really smart. They're probably smarter than all of their their peers that are hanging around them. So, for example, when Sora is able to convince Jibril to use their library, or takes back the library from her, the game that they play, he literally, through one move, testing whether or not they can use words that the other opponent does not know. Once he tests that and confirms it, he knows that he's won the entire game already. Same with Nishitaka. There's a lot of situations where it's over before it begins. Like, Nishitaka is literally running in a hamster wheel. He thinks he's gonna outsmart Takagi-san, but no. She's like 10 steps ahead. And it always ends with Nishitaka being embarrassed. Right? So as I mentioned earlier, Jibril doesn't know atomic theory, which is why he already knows that she's gonna lose. This is another time where Nishitaka asks him like, oh, like, why do you always give me such a handicap? He's like, well, I think it's impossible that you'd ever prank me because I know you so well. They both are so ahead of their opponent that they know that they're like 10 steps ahead. There's no way the other person can outbeat them. So for example, there's this one scene, I think it's on episode 3. They're making a bet on, okay, who can run faster and finish. They make their bet and he's like, okay, if you beat me, I'll do whatever you want. And then she's like, okay. And then right when they make that bet, she's like, oh, girls turn back at 50 meters. So then guys have to run another 50 meters before they can come back. So at that point, right before, she baits him into saying, yeah, okay, whoever wins will get whatever, has to do what the other person says. She's like, okay, baits him, boom, wins. It's over before it even began. Same with this game, right? With No Game, No Life, the last series, nobody predicts that Stephanie's gonna be the winning chip or the hidden weapon. And both of them predicted. Looks like it worked. They are so good at outplaying their opponents. And this is kind of like what I said before. They're both. They taunt their opponents too, right? Sora's like, oh, checkmate. I already know that I can beat you because I have everything set in place. I know what you're thinking. I'm 10 steps ahead of you. With Takagi-San, she even baits him and taunts him, says, you can't win, so what's the problem? Like, it's okay, I can bet anything I want. Like, you want me to buy you sodas for 50 days straight? Sure, but you're not gonna win because I know you so well. And here is like one of my favorite scenes from both animes that explain this topic very, very well. So this is after they've lost the game. So I was like, okay, you know what? Like, let's just settle this because we're arguing. What should we do with both countries? It's like, let's settle this with a coin toss. All right, so if Sora wins, then Elkia gets all the East Federation's territory. And if they win, they get to keep their territory, right? So they're about to flip. The Warbies have a ability, some of them have the ability called blood destruction that allows them to like sense the entire area, and it makes their blood go super intense, and they're able to sense everything and like slow down time and everything, perception, everything like that. And she does this when he flips a coin to tell whether or not it's going to land on tails. Right after she calls tails, it goes out. He pulls the little stone plate out so that like they underscore this in the anime so much, but that right there is insane. How the heck does Sora know to flip it? And right before he can that is like a superhuman ability. Anyways, overlooking that, he pulls the stone tile out and then it lands on its upright. I don't even know what that's called. And so yeah, this was his goal from the start. And therefore, if they both lose, then well, how do they figure that out? But if they both win, then both demands are fulfilled. Therefore, they join into a partnership, and everybody has their own rights as human beings and war beasts. They don't have to become slaves to anyone because they put a race piece on the line, right? And this was Sora's goal from the start. When he said checkmate, right here, he already knew this was the outcome that was going to happen. And so let's see how Takagi-san pulls off a relatively similar thing, but obviously a lot more innocent, a lot more cute and nice. So there's this drink that came out. She baits him by saying, hey, oh, you're drinking that new drink, huh? Because it's always about the setup, right? You don't actively... Your enemy is most susceptible to being manipulated when they think they're in control. So instead of her trying to be like, this is where Nishitaka fails. He always is like, tries to set it up to get Takagi-san to lose or get pranked or be embarrassed. But you have to wait for the perfect opportunity where your opponent steps into the ring thinking they have an advantage. Oh, that's a new drink that came out, right? And then he's like, oh, this is a perfect opportunity. I'm going to try to embarrass her. And then she's like, oh, can I have a sip? Can I try it? It's like, you know, that's like an indirect kiss. Doesn't give it. She just gives no fucks. Drinks it because she likes him, you know. So it's like not even a big deal. And then she gives it back to him, and right before he's about to drink it, she's like, it's an indirect kiss, you know. Backfires. He freaks out. Drops the can. At that point, he's like, well, I'm not gonna drink this anymore. So he tries to throw it into the bin. This is another situation, right? She set him up for that. That already was entertaining for her to watch. Afterwards, she can decide if she wants to move on, and if another situation arises, which it does right here, he throws it into the can, makes it in, gets super confident, is like, wow, I made it. I must be a god. Or picks up another can, throws it, makes 2 in a row, is like, oh my god, I must be a god. And then she's like, okay, here, let me try. Throws it, misses completely. Obviously, like, she missed on intentionally. And he's like, oh, what are those? What are you aiming at? You weren't even close. She's like, okay, well, why don't we have a match then? Let's try to see what happens. If I win, you do whatever I want. And if you win, I'll do whatever you want. And then he's like, okay. This acting deserves an Oscar. Look at this face. Look at this mouth right here. She's like even acting as if, damn, like this is gonna be hard. Like I need to really win this, or else I'm gonna lose and get embarrassed. All part of the plan, my friend. All part of the plan. So Nishitaga's like, if you win, I'll do whatever you want me to do. And this is the goal, right? This is when your opponent thinks, I got this in the bag. And this is when you strike. Goal achieved. All right, okay. Throws it. Goes into the trash can. Look at that smile. That mischievous smile is like, hey, you just got played, bro. Nishitaga's like, oh, shit, what? Oh my god. Like, all right, okay. And just the nerves probably would put him over the edge and he'd probably miss. But just for good measure, she throws in, I'll give you my first kiss if you win and make it. Obviously gets flustered, misses completely. He's like, that wasn't fair. When I was throwing it, you mentioned that thing. She's like, well, a bet's a bet and you lost. And again, very similar to Sora in the sense that win-win situation, right? If you can create a win-win situation for both parties, that's the best option. So she's like, what should I make you do? I guess I don't mind if you don't do anything, right? Which means her whole goal is just to have fun with Nishitaka, see him get embarrassed. There's no harm, there's no malicious intent. It's like a win-win situation. And the only explanation, since she's so freaking smart, you have to remember that they're like in like 2nd grade. Like for a kid to have that much game theory knowledge or knowing when the opponent's gonna mess up or baiting them into a situation where they're just gonna like fail, that's so ahead of the curve. Oh, sorry. Which means the only explanation is she's like Conan from Case Closed, and she's like an adult in a kid's body. But probably unlikely. She's probably just very smart. But overall, I found this picture and I thought it was really cool. Just wanted to throw it in there. So the anime also has these 3 girls. It's not just Nishitaka and Takagi-san. And I think they're there to offset some of and make the world a little bit more believable, because like I said earlier, Takagi-san is so ahead of the curve. She can read Nishitaka like a book. She knows when to act. Do you remember that Oscar scene I just mentioned? She's so good at acting. And like normal elementary school students are not like that. So these 3 are comedic relief as to what actual elementary school students are thinking about and what they're worried about. Right, sorry, I mentioned that. Look how cute they are. But yeah, so for example, the first in 3 episodes, they have conversations arguing about how when they were younger, or right now, when we were younger, I guess, it hurts your tongue when you drink soda, right? Remember when you first tried soda, you're like, oh my god, it's so spicy, I don't like this. But then now, I'm sure a lot of you guys love soda or hate soda, but there's a vast majority of people who grow up to like that fizzy feeling, and these three girls are like, I want to be like an adult, I want to try soda, but this is what like normal elementary school students are worried about. Or so in Japan they have like 2 sets of uniforms, obviously, so like because the seasons are pretty intense there. Winter is super cold, sometimes snows there. Summer is like very, very, very hot and humid, and so they're worried about like, we're friends, we should be changing our uniforms at the same time. And that's the argument. That's literally the premise of their small little skit that they have for that episode, compared to all the like diabolical genius that Takagi-san's able to pull off. But it offsets, because if it was just constantly Takagi-san being like so good at pranking Nishitaka, I feel like the jokes and the intensity and the giddiness that we see when we watch that episode would be a lot less if it was just constantly the same thing. Like, you need the comedic relief of these 3 girls that, even though every time I watch I'm like, oh my god, it's so boring, can we just like skip to Nishitaka and Takagi-san? But like thinking back and analyzing it, it's probably good to have these 3 girl characters as comedic relief. And they're funny because some of their storylines, they go to the same school, they're in the same classes, but sometimes their things intersect. And I think these 3 are kind of even cognizant how smart Takagi-san is, because they start snooping on them because they're hanging out all the time, right? If you're that little and you see a guy and girl hanging out, you're like, ooh, they're dating, KISSING, you know, like all that cootie stuff. And so they're just a fun group of people to watch, and this anime is like just so wholesome, so innocent, and so cute. And that is, look at how excited she is to have her little ice cream. But yeah, so it's, again, like I said in the last class about this topic and this anime, this is, if you're looking for an anime that is a reminder for how simple things life can be and some of the joys that it brings, like, this is the anime for you. Super cute, very wholesome, so innocent. If you had a bad day, just watch this. Guarantee your day will become a lot better, and you'll have a smile on your face just watching these people just interact with each other. But yeah, the Takagi-san is hands down one of my favorite characters, because she's just, imagine having a childhood friend like this, right? Or it's someone you went to elementary school with, who's just teasing you constantly, and she's inviting you out to do stuff, and you're like, oh, and you guys are like really good friends, but there's just that like awkward whatever as the guy, you're like, oh my god, why is she blah blah blah. It was just like, I miss this. This is like when, like, as a kid you used to get all the butterflies thinking about your crush. Like, this is that time period, you know? And I feel like a lot of times when you grow up and like life happens, the world is a lot more serious, or like dating's not just about, oh my god, you want to hold hands and stuff. This is like that little magic part that I think a lot of us find missing in our current relationships or current friendships. This is that like little X factor, is that teasing and the fun part. So if you want to laugh, have a good time, watch this anime. It's a great one. And with that, class is dismissed. Oh my gosh. Class is dismissed. Sorry. I forgot to move this one from last time. Class is dismissed. And now I'm going to open up chat again. And thanks for tuning in. I'm going to read chat, and we can talk about, or no, you guys got to submit your haikus. Have you guys been thinking about your haikus?
4th episode. So fun to make. I love Karuka just on Takagi-san and No Game No Life. Mashing them up together. This was a blast to make. Hope you guys enjoyed it too. And yeah, Osumatsu. See you guys in the next one.